Our bodies are amazing. They're meant to keep us safe. And one of the ways that they do that is by creating homeostasis, bringing us back to a status quo normal level. And the reason for that is that what's known is what's safe. Your body knows how to handle and manage what the current situation is because it's familiar. And that's wonderful for keeping us safe, but it doesn't necessarily keep us happy. And what happens is we develop these habits of certain emotional norms. And the more that we feel a certain way, the more our bodies want to maintain that. And so we look for opportunities to continue to have the same feelings that have been familiar to us. So in order to override that, it takes changing those emotions consciously so that way you are overriding that homeostatic state and creating a new baseline, a new norm. So there are a couple of ways to do this. One way is by choosing to do things that make you happy, simply pursuing your pleasure. For me, that has meant dancing, biking, rock climbing, spending time with friends, spending time with my family. Those are all things that increase my baseline of happiness. And the more I do it, the more my body expects that and then recalibrates to that level of joy just by having the habit of generating those feelings. The second way that I've been doing that is through a meditative practice. And in this practice, what I do is I anticipate the feelings that I've had that I've become habituated to, feelings of anxiety or fear or sadness. And I anticipate them during my morning meditation practice. I think about what are the things that likely make me feel a certain way. And then I sit with them, I observe those feelings, I notice them, I honor them, I communicate with them, and then I choose. How do I want to feel? So if I feel fear, I choose to replace that with love. If I feel anxiety, I choose to replace that with acceptance. And so I anticipate what things during the day I think might make me feel that way. I practice in my head how I want to feel. I create those feelings within my body. And I practice being able to switch between modes of, say, fear and love or anxiety and acceptance. And when I can make that switch within my body in the safety of my home, in the safety of my mind during my morning meditation, it becomes much easier to employ that practice during the day when I am just going about my regular life and the things that evoke those feelings, those difficult feelings, come up, whether they're anticipated ones or not. So these practices I have found over the last year or so have changed my baseline. I now expect a different level of happiness. My body expects that, and my body has learned to recalibrate to a new level of joy, comfort, and peace, because that's what I'm feeding it. And it's like breaking an addiction. So we're addicted to these feelings, these difficult feelings, and they're, again, because they're comfortable, choosing something else can be really uncomfortable. Even though you think you're choosing happiness, that's a different thing to live in, and it requires acting in different ways, doing different things. And that process can feel like a detoxification, just like when you're addicted to a substance like alcohol or tobacco. Getting off it initially can feel awful. It can feel not healthy at all, but it takes consistency to rid your body of those toxic feelings, those toxic substances, so that way you have a clean slate to establish a new norm. And it's possible to quit the feelings that don't feel good to you and to still create space for letting those emotions inform you, let them come up, witness them, be with them, and then you make a choice. How do I actually want to be in this situation? It's very powerful stuff.